Good evening. Pauline Hanson has jetted into Perth, riding high on a surge in popularity and opinion polls.
The One Nation leader has headed straight to Midland for a fundraising event where she's been met with protests. Let's go live to Jeff Parry. Jeff, it's got off to a threatening start.
Yes, Tim, it has, and it'll be interesting to see whether it goes further than that. Pauline Hanson is expected any minute now here at the Crooked Spire in Victoria Street, Midland. Now you can hear and see on the other side of the street about 300 protesters making a lot of noise. They're from different protesting groups from around Perth. They've all gathered here to protest her presence. They believe she's a racist. They oppose her immigration policies. On this side are all her supporters. They've been lining up to get into the Crooked Spire. It's a sellout event. Around 300 people paying $70 a head to hear her speak. WA police are everywhere. They're looking after the outside. On the inside, federal police are looking after her personal security. But as you can see, it's settled at the moment. But we haven't seen Pauline Hanson arrive just yet, and we'll see what happens then. She's used to this. She's been to Perth many times over the last 30 years. She arrived in Perth this afternoon about 4 o'clock. Pauline Hanson's popularity has never been higher. Opinion polls suggest her party's primary vote nationally has exceeded Labor's and left the Liberal coalition in its dust.
Well, the response that I got since I got off the plane, even before I got off the plane, indicates there is a lot of support here in Western Australia.
I was getting a fish and chip shop.
A lot of vegetable oil has flowed under the bridge for the former fish and chip shop owner. Nearly 30 years ago, just a few weeks after founding One Nation, she flew to Perth and was met by a torrent of protests and arrests. Wherever Pauline Hanson went, she was targeted, her critics labelling her and her supporters racist. More than 1,000 demonstrators turned out to a Pauline Hanson rally and pelted her with fruit.
We have not been able to speak our minds or express our views without being called names intended to make us look backward, intolerant and extremists.
But the racist tag has endured. The party has had its ups and downs over the last 29 years, but its support has never been higher.
It's against mass immigration!
Its policies on immigration and housing are drawing more and more people away from mainstream parties to the point where One Nation is now mainstream. And it's a problem for both Coalition and Labor.
One Nation, they talk up a big game, don't they? But they've got nothing to offer. Nothing to offer the people of Western Australia.
A lot of voters would disagree.
Jeff, tonight's fundraiser in Midland is sold out, as you mentioned a moment ago. What are we actually expected to hear from Pauline Hanson tonight?
Well, it's the usual message. I mean, she's been giving the usual message. They know well and truly what they're expected to hear, but they love it. They agree with her. They like what she has to say. They see her as a bigger leader than perhaps in the last 30 years. She's now at sort of the pinnacle of her powers at the moment and the pinnacle of her interest. The crowd over here, they're going nuts at the moment because we just believe that Pauline Hanson didn't come right here and that she's gone into this meeting another way. So they've got more vocal. We'll see what happens and we'll keep you updated throughout tonight's report. Back to you guys.
OK, thanks for that, Jeff. Pauline Hanson's polling success has made her a money-making machine, with a new campaign against Anthony Albanese dubbed Fire the Liar. A fundraiser only launched this morning has already surpassed its initial $1 million goal, which has been upped to 1.5. But the Prime Minister has his focus on defending his budget as he weighs up potential tax carve-outs.
At a suburban GP clinic, Anthony Albanese says it isn't just his Medicare card that stands out, but the doctors and nurses themselves, most migrants.
Take out those people who were not born in Australia and see how you go.
As now 4 weeks after the federal budget, concerns over capital gains tax rises are rising.
Business owners hate it, startups hate it, investors hate it.
The government is considering exempting startups as foreshadowed in the budget, and Anthony Albanese says will listen to other concerns raised in next week's two-day Senate inquiry.
We're a government that responds to the needs of the community.
As One Nation's rise in the polling race sets off another, a race for political donations. Labor asking supporters for contributions of $27, a specific number for a specific purpose, to fight One Nation, which has trumped that, asking its supporters this morning for $29 towards a $1 million target. Contributions are streaming in, the campaign to fire the liar.
I'll leave the negativity to someone who has made a career out of seeking to divide people.
The Nationals leader asked if One Nation's rise could send his party into extinction.
These things don't concern me. What concerns me is that the Australian people are going backwards.
Allowing destiny to take its course. And the NZYQ case is back to haunt the government. A further High Court ruling today opening the door for the 300-plus criminal detainees to possibly claim tens of millions of dollars in compensation after an earlier ruling found that their indefinite detention had been unconstitutional. Today's decision, though, suggesting that despite being illegal arrivals who are also convicted rapists, murderers, drug runners and more, the former detainees might be entitled to handsome payouts from taxpayers. The government says tonight it's examining the ruling. Tim.
Mark, thank you. Buses have been torched and homes set alight as a wave of anti-immigration anger sweeps through the streets of Belfast.
Mobs of protesters stormed neighbourhoods in Northern Ireland after a Sudanese asylum seeker was arrested, accused of an attempted beheading.
Belfast burns. Homes set alight. Buses, cars and bins all ablaze as masked anti-immigration rioters erupt in response to what's being described as an attempted beheading on the city's streets. The suspect, a 30-year-old Sudanese asylum seeker, now charged with attempted murder.
Has he got a knife? Get off him, you f***ing rat! Trying to cut his head off.
The 40-year-old victim of the attack saved by residents rushing to his rescue.
Yes! Yes! Get up!
Police have ruled out terror as a motive, but it soon engulfed many of the city's streets. Hooded men going door to door in search of migrants, leaving smoke pouring from a Middle Eastern supermarket, police riot vans struggling to contain the chaos.
Oh my God! Oh my God!
British Prime Minister Keir Starmer labelled the attack sickening. The response from protesters described by Northern Ireland's First Minister as disgusting cowardice.
My message today is one of calm, and don't allow those people that don't care about people here to incite hatred, to incite fear.
Two things this city sadly knows all too much about. In London, Ben Downey, 7 News.